The 1st of January, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Oh, the quitclaim deed. They don't, good morning. Welcome back, Lou.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, so we're over here on Yud Gimel Amid Aleph, and the Gemora is talking about what a buyer could say back as in defense of his position against the Gemora's question that we said yesterday. And we're now reading Rashi. Phil read the Rashi. And what we're talking about in the case is that we're talking about that the buyer and the seller, not the buyer and the seller, sorry, strike that. We'll try it again. We're talking about the lender and the borrower. The lender and the borrower made a deal with one another of deception and deceit. That even though the borrower has paid the guy back, but the guy's the lender says to him, "Look, I got a good plan," or maybe that actually was the other guy that made the plan. I would say it was the borrower that made the plan, because he's the one that knows that he sold this property to the guy without achrayus. That's where the whole thing starts. What does it mean without achrayus? It means that the seller is selling to a buyer, and he's saying, "I'm not taking any responsibility in regard to whether this property has a lien on it." Meaning that if somebody if it comes and gets it and takes it from you, then that's tough luck for you. You won't have any recourse against me. Because I was wondering, how does this collusion start anyway? I mean, why would the Lova want to get into this picture and cheat out the person that he sold the property to, if in any case the buyer is going to just come back to the Lova who sold him the property and say, "Look, you cheated me. You sold me this property, and yet the property was on lien, and they took the property away from me. And you're responsible because you sold me property, and you guaranteed that there's no lien on the property." So obviously, we got to be talking about a case where it's where it would pay for the loiva to make this type of deception with the one that with the lender. So I think that's what Rashi means over here when he says without achrayus. And so now this poor buyer, I mean, I'm calling him a poor buyer, he knows he bought the property without achrayus. How much would you want to pay for a property without achrayus? I wouldn't pay very much for it. Why does the guy want to sell it to me without achrayus? But whatever, he bought it for what he bought it for, and so now though it might be that it in fact is worth much more than that, and so now we have this concern that the lender and the borrower are going to go make a thing over here, work in collusion at the expense of the seller. Okay. Yeah. And so that's why even according to Abaye, even though Abaye says what he says about that's precisely the reason why the Mishnah says what it says, and why the Gemora says because of this concern that we have. Okay. Rashi doesn't explain. He doesn't do any more explaining than that. Right. Maybe the loan was paid off, and there's really no longer any lien on the that this star has this loan document has no koach to be used to take property away from the buyer of the property that was sold to him by the borrower. But since the Lova and the Malva could make a deal with one another, like Rashi says, the Malva can take away this karka. Oh, so that's why our Mishnah talks about a star shekasav bo achrayus. It says in the document that there is achrayus. Oh, so I don't think it's like I was saying. Achrayus means that what that was the provision that says that there's a lien. In other words, it says on the contract that the property that's bought subject to this note is on lien. That's what it means. There's a clause like that. So if there's a clause like that, we're not going to give it back to the lender, because we're worried about this this kanunya between the borrower and the lender. But okay, so therefore, what about a case if you have a shtar that doesn't have such a provision? If it doesn't have such a provision of achrayus like that, achrayus nechosim, the property is not on lien as a result of this document. So then we'll say, according to Reb Meir, that we would return the finder would return the shtar to the malva. Why? Because in that case, the Lova made an admission that what he made an admission he didn't pay yet. But they're not. But it doesn't have a achrayus in that shtar. Meaning that what the property that the Lova would sell would not be on lien as a result of him not paying. Won't be on lien. That's what it means. The shtar doesn't have achrayus. That's what Reb Meir will say, and the Rabbanan will say that in spite of the fact that it doesn't say achrayus in the document openly, we still won't give it back. Okay, but that's the machlokes between the Rabbanan and Reb Meir. Okay, but in any case, we've now explained how the Mishnah will work according to this view of Abaye. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit complicated over here to try to remember all the details. Okay. So now we go to Shmuel. Ula Shmuel. We're in the Gemora now. Ula Shmuel, the Amar, I think it's like 18 lines, 17 lines from the bottom of the page. And the first word in the line is Ula Kanunya. See where that is?
We're in 13A3 in the right column.
13A3 on the right column.
Very top of the column.
On the top of the column.
The
Okay.
Famines.
Alan, you got the place?
Yep. Release Moel, Gemora, Lo, Shana, Leaf Bone, Leaf Nora. And according to Shmuel, who maintains that we need not be concerned about payment and collusion. My Ikor, what is there to say? Shmuel cannot then explain that the reason of the Mishnah for not returning the note is because of a concern about conspiracy, as does Abaye. For Nichor, Sobar, Law, Karab, or C. Now is understandable if Shmuel holds the view of Rav Asi, the Omar Bish Tormi, who says that the Mishnah in Bava Basra that permits having a loan document drawn up even if the lender is not present speaks about notes of acquisition, that a Mishnah presents no problem. Okay, Masa Ni Son Bishop to May, delay O, Hakanor, Mishnah, Hakanor, Shmuel does will interpret our Mishnah as speaking about a note not of the acquisition type, so that the lien takes effect only from the actual date of the loan. Sobar to E. Babaye, the Omar, a doctor, Maka Sumor, Zakru Low. But if Shmuel holds the view of Baye, who says that the notes witnesses by the signature require my Ikor, the air, what is there to say?
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll take a look at Rashi over here. Will you want to read Rashi?
Yep.
Rashi starts with the Shmuel the Amar is just one word, the common.
Come on, further on. Later on, it's going to explain this.
And then you got the next Rashi, though.
Lo chashinan the peer own.
Right.
Let's see if I can find where that is over here. Lo hashinan the pay own. We're not concerned about the payment and collision. We're not concerned about the conspiracy.
Lo chashinan the piroyan and kanunya. We're not worried about that whole scenario. Where actually the lova has already paid off the document and paid off the loan, thereby rendering the document incapable of being used to take property on lien, and in spite of that, they'll make a collusion between them that the borrower will claim that he has not paid off the thing, he hasn't paid it off, and then the guy will be have the ability, the lender, to go and use it against the purchaser of the property.
Bishtar hanimtza vafilu ein chayev, with a document that was found, and even if there's no obligation, modeh deim isa de pirya.
Even if what we're calling him the chayev, even if the lova who was chayev to pay he was obligated to pay the for the loan that he borrowed, even if he is not moda, even if he does not say that he paid it.
He does not admit. Oh, I see. Ein chayev moda. The borrower is not moda, does not admit that he paid. The deim isa de firya, that he paid. Mikra hu kara lay mikra. He declares that he tore it up.
Mikra, it's like a double lashon. Mikra havikara. He surely would have torn it up if he actually paid it.
Okay, right. He surely would have torn it up. The Amar Shmuel, the Kaman, as is stated by Shmuel later on. Hamotzi star hakina'a bishuk. He found a document of acquisition in the shuk, in the market, the chazir, the balim, and he should return it to the baal is, I guess in this case, is the malva.
Right, the one that the note was given to act as a that he would be able to collect. Like you said, this is like a lien note. Whether he lent the money, whether he didn't lend the money, the property is on lien as of the date of the note, and we'd give it back to the one that note was originally given to.
Because we say that if the borrower had paid, then he would have demanded that the note be given to him, and he would have torn it up. Therefore, the fact that it's still in existence indicate he didn't pay. So therefore, we should give it to the lender so that he can collect. The kol shechein kishechayev modeh my tama gufe de miom. Let's try translating that. And even more so, that when the borrower admits, what is the reason?
Admits that he did not pay.
He admits he did not pay. What is the reason? Gufa is the text.
High time of Gufa, for that reason itself.
For that reason itself, Dimiyom Paritz Aso, on the day that he paid, who Koro, he would tear up. Hilchach, therefore, Leka, the Mechash, Leachar, Zman, go Masne, B'mai Kumi, Muki lay. Therefore, we don't, we're not concerned that afterwards they conspired.
Right?
Masne b'mai muki. What's muki?
Masnisin, our Mishnah, b'mai mukila. How do we establish it? How do we explain that in our Mishnah, if this note would be found in the street, it's not going to it won't be given back to the lender.
Right. We're not worried that they're conspiring. But why is Rashi saying we're not worried that they're conspiring? Therefore, we're not worried. What's the therefore?
Because Shmuel says, if the note was, what's the actual thing that we're worried about? We're worried about the fact that even though the note was paid, which renders the document now incapable of being used to grab property away from a purchaser, because once the lova pays his loan, so this document is no longer effective to collect with, right? Because the whole idea is that the document is being used to collect for a loan which has been which is not paid. If he pays it, so then number one, the loan, the document itself should be worthless, and number two, we wouldn't expect to find it, because the minute that he pays it, he's going to demand that the malva give him the note, and he'll tear it up right away. So what is this note? So it doesn't make any. So therefore, we got no reason whatsoever to be concerned for the possibility of collusion between the two of them. And so, if we don't have any reason to suspect like that, so what would be we should have no problem to give the document back to the lender, because certainly if it was paid up, it would have been torn up. So give it back to the lender. So that's what Shmuel holds. So on that, the Gemora is asking, according to Shmuel, how does he understand our Mishnah? Because our whole Mishnah is based upon the concern, like we just got through saying.
But why aren't we concerned that the lova has the document in his hand? He paid the malva. The malva gave him the document. He's standing there with the document in his hand. He's about to tear it up, and he says, "Wait a second. Maybe we can have a collusion here."
So why is it that we find the document in the shuk?
In order to make it appear,
He should just give it straight to the malva.
yeah, that's a good question. Maybe he feels that it will appear more legitimate if it's actually found. The lender can say, I gave up on this. I lost the document. And I said to myself, there's no way I can collect now. I don't have a document. So forget about it. And now all of a sudden, here's the document. So now I want to collect. That way he can explain to the purchaser why he delayed.
So you want to say maybe he paid it. If he wants to do a collusion with the if the Loiva wants to do a collusion with the Malva, so even if he pays it, he'll throw it in the street, and somebody will find it, and if the Bezdin says that yeah, we got to give it back to the Malva because it obviously fell from him, because if the Loiva paid it, so when the minute that the Malva gives it to him, he's going to tear it up. So it must be that it fell from the Malva.
Right.
Okay, but barring that point, what Rashi is saying, though, is he's explaining why Shmuel says that we're not concerned for collusion. What's the reason why Shmuel says we're not concerned for collusion? So that's what Rashi is explaining. If it would be the case that the Lova actually paid it, so he certainly would have torn it up on the spot. Because that's what Shmuel says later on in the Gemora. Somebody who finds a star hakna in the shuk, the Bezdin authorizes that it should be given back to the Bailim, to the owner of that note. And Rashi says all the more so in the case where the loiva is moded that he did not pay it. Mahai time gufe, for that reason itself, that he admitted that he didn't pay it. Demiyom priyosoi hukoro, because otherwise, if from the day that he paid it, he would certainly have torn it up. And therefore, accordingly, lekalamechash, le'achasman kanunya, we're not going to be concerned that they had a collusion between one another after that. So if that's the way that Shmuel understands, so he's saying we have no concern of collusion. So how is he going to explain our Mishnah? That's the Gemora's question. Okay, now. Oh, we're out of time. Okay, saved by the bell.
Bye.
Okay, everybody.
So,
All the best. Mazel tov again to Alan.
Mazel tov, Alan.
okay.
Take care. Bye.
All the best, Phil.